Hello everyone, it's Quentin Kinahan here with you on Wednesday the 21st of May. Time now is 3:30 PM Eastern Standard Time, and I wanted to invite all of you here today to have a discussion about the status of people with a disability in Australia, because if you've read or heard anything about the budget, it's Quentin Kinahan here, then you'll know that a lot of things aren't so good for us at the moment. Let's start off. In the budget, the Liberal Party planned to remove funding for the Disability Commissioner in the Human Rights organisation. Now, they say that that role will be absorbed by other people, but when the NDIS, the National Disability Insurance Scheme, hasn't even been fully set up, and there are still cases of abuse with people with a disability from care organisations. There's also employment discrimination that we face. It's alarming that the government has chosen to remove this position altogether. Secondly, the cuts to education. Let's talk about that. The education budget is going to be cut across the board for many people in public schools. Now, that'll mean that a lot of the necessary programs that occur for people with disabilities may be shelved. Now, people with disabilities who are studying at primary school or high school need extra assistance. Now, they may need, people who just help them go to the toilet or help them get set up for the day. Others need people with them all day to help them get their education. We're talking about people to help them write, help them type, just be an on-hand person to make sure that these kids have a viable future. Because what we're actually doing then, if we're not educating our kids, then we're just breeding a class of disabled people that are going to be forced to live on the disability support pension. When I was a child, I was stuck in the Regency Park Centre for Young Disabled, and we had many students like myself that were doing quite well, and the teacher would grade us, but they would always say, "Don't worry, you'll never need to go out and get a job. The government will always take care of you." Now, I found that alarming. It means that I don't need to have incentive to move forward in my life. I don't need to want to achieve great things, because supposedly the government will always take care of me. Now, many of the people that were in those classes with me are now on the pension, and they're having to sell big issues, and they're having to scrape for every dollar that they can just to get ahead in life. Now, this is even going to be affected when the $7 medical payment comes in with the budget. Now, this $7 medical payment is meant to happen when you go to a GP or get a blood test or an X-ray or practically anything. And for people with a disability who are on a disability support pension, or any pensioner for that matter, will be slugged 11 $7 increments a year. Now, that's just them, okay? Now, why doesn't the government say, hey, we're going to take pensioners' money, we're going to take $77 out of their wallets, and we're just going to give them less money per year. Now, that's not the kicker. Here's the kicker. There are lots of struggling families who are on one job, two jobs. They're not on any support pension, but they do take care of a child with a disability. What happens to them? They're having to pay the $77 for that child, plus themselves, plus any other children that they have. And they won't get the 11 increments and you're out. They're just forced to keep paying and paying and paying. Now, where is the justice in that? This means that any lower to middle income family of a person with a disability is going to be slugged even more. Now, am I right in thinking that that itself is discrimination? Oh, but wait, there's actually no disability commissioner to file a complaint with anymore. Shock horror. So basically what we're looking at is we are looking at, well, disabled people in Australia now really effectively being looked at as second-class citizens. And, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only disability advocate that's up in arms about this. You know, when I was a child, I fought the Labor government to stop cutting funding to disability education. And thankfully, they did. But what we're seeing now by the Liberal government is so abhorrent to disabled people and such a slap in the mouth to say, you know what, we'll give you the NDIS eventually, but for right now, we're going to slug you. What does that say to us? Now, here's another kicker that you may or may not know about. The ABC is now being cut by 1%, right? Now, 1% isn't much, as you guys may well know, but in a large organisation such as the ABC that has to cover many programs and mirroring things across Australia, things will be cut. And one of the things that is on the table to be cut is the disability advocacy or disability portal Ramp Up. Now, Ramp Up is edited by Stella Young, who is a disability advocate and works for the ABC, and she presents a, I guess, well-rounded look, political look, I'll grant you, at the things that Australian people with a disability live with. We're talking about discrimination, the right to education, the right to access, the right to, I guess, sex and love and, you know, everything. And it's not as though we're asking for a lot. We just want what everyone else has across the board. And now, this great website, this portal that people with a disability have, is now in jeopardy. So that's another thing that could potentially be off the table for us. I mean, wow, Tony. Wow. I mean, I'm speechless for a second. Hold that. Speechless. Okay? Now, in my radio show on 891 Adelaide, every Thursday fortnight, I say the phrase, "Are you kidding me?" Because I'm usually shocked by something that happens in the movies. Well, I'm sorry, but Tony, are you kidding me? Are you really willing to look at disabled people and give us a slap in the face like that? Seriously? Are you kidding me? Now, what I want to do is I'm going to put some links in the comment section after the show about some great articles that Stella and a number of other people have written about what's going in our society for disabled people. And I think it really highlights the problems that we're facing. I mean, the pension does not allow you to live with a lot. Now, I have to pay for my own food, my own rent. I also have to pay $100 a month for a thing called a Eurodome. You guys can look it up, what a Eurodome is. Basically, it's something that helps me go wee-wee. Okay, $100 a month on that, right? Then I basically have another $30 a month on prescriptions. Okay, that's 100, 130 plus my rent, plus my food, plus my phone, plus my internet to have the ability to talk to you guys. And what am I left with? Not much at all. The cost of living has gone up. But am I sitting here saying I want more? No, I don't want more. I just don't want stuff taken away from me. That's all. You know, we were promised all these things by Tony, that there wouldn't be cuts. And it's basically shown and proven that Tony Abbott and Joe Hockey have lied to you. They've lied to us all. And you know what I hope? I really hope that there is a double dissolution election, because then we can really stand up and say, you know what, Tony, out of line, you're a one-term Prime Minister. See you later. Now, I'm not saying that Labor government's any better. We all know that they've been shocking in the behaviour that they've committed amongst themselves. But they did have the foresight to create the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Now, people will say, why is the National Disability Insurance Scheme so important? Well, people, it's basically freedom for us. It takes the role of decision maker out of the bureaucrat and puts back in the hand of a disabled person. We can then choose who our carers are, which care agency we want to go to, how much we want to spend on that care agency. We can divert money from that insurance scheme package to things like specialist fees or to equipment that we need. It's not saying we want to go on a holiday to the Caribbean and use that money for it. No. It's just money that allows us to have a bit of equality in this world so that we're not costing the taxpayers so much money because we're sitting at home on our pensions doing nothing. I mean, if I had the choice, I would have a job right now doing what I love, which is making films and TV for all of you. But I'm not well enough to do so full-time anymore. So I have to find a way part-time to do it. And there are many other people with disabilities that would love the same opportunity. Now, I'm fortunate in the fact that I can create my own work and my own funding streams for that. But many disabled people don't have the education or the assistance to go out and find work. And here's the kicker, right? A disabled person comes in for the interview for a job. Automatically, the employer is saying, oh my God, I've got a person with a disability here. A, how do I react? B, will this person fit in with the other staff? B, how will they do their job? C, how will I have to modify my workplace for this person to be able to work here? Then we have to talk about, do I need to cover them with extra work cover? How will this affect my insurance? And so they think about all these things and then decide, you know what? Too hard basket. Thanks a lot. It was nice meeting you, but I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out. And so we end up back on the shelf. Now, I've been ranting for 17 minutes, and I haven't checked Twitter yet to see what any of you are saying. And you haven't commented yet. But please, I would love you guys to comment. Are you liking what I've been saying? Am I correct? You know, you guys can watch this back today on YouTube afterwards, and I will include the links. If you just joined us, hi, I'm Quentin, and we're talking about the status of people with a disability and the fact that Tony Abbott is basically putting us back in the dark ages a bit and treating us like second-class citizens. You know, I had dark times when I was younger as a kid because we were institutionalized, a lot of us were. And, you know, even though I was on TV, yeah, I was institutionalized for a number of years where I would stay in an institution 5 days a week and I'd go home on weekends. And a lot of bad things happened in that institution. Things that I'll never talk about. And I guess what was great is the fact that those institutions were shut down and the government realised that people with a disability could live in their homes and try to get jobs and try to live in a world with everyone else. And right now, I think the government wants to go back to a model of we see you, but we don't want to hear you anymore. And they're just trying to cut our voice. And this is why I want to put to all of you people with a disability, not just in Australia, but around the world. if you're persecuted in some way, you must stand up, you must fight back and say, you know what, I'm a person too with every right to be here in this world the same as you. I deserve your respect, your love, your compassion, and I have the right to fight for what I want in this world. And I think that's important. But it's harder, and it gets harder, when a government that of a country that you love, I love Australia, doesn't stand beside you and says, we'll support you. I think that's just sad. Don't you? And I think that, you know, that we need to band together now and put any differences that we've had with each other aside. I know I've had differences with certain people of the disabled community, and I've been accused of being an inspiration pornographer or whatever that's called. You know, inspiration porn. Inspiration porn, yeah. I've been accused of that, but I really think we need to just put all the differences aside and just say, you know what, let's be friends, let's come together as a unit and fight the government on their level and say, you know what, we will rise our voices up. We will be in the mainstream media. We will be in your face. And hey, yo, we won't go. So, Tony, you're on notice, son. You're on notice that myself and other people with disabilities are not going to stand for your rhetoric, for your cuts. Basically, we're not standing for you anymore. And you may have won the battle, but you will not win the war, my son. And I think you'll find that we will win, because the fight is always with the right. And I know that I'm right. I know that other people with disabilities are right. You've done the wrong thing, my friend. You've done the wrong thing by treating people with disability with disrespect. You've done the wrong thing by cutting the Disability Commissioner, Discrimination Commissioner. You've done the wrong thing by cutting education that may have been used for people with disabilities. You've done the wrong thing by putting in jeopardy ABC's ramp up. Basically, Tony, you have done the wrong thing. And we're not going to stand for it anymore. Because our voices will rise up. They'll be like little whispers first. And gradually, Tony, our voices will get louder and louder and louder and louder, until you realise that we're not going away. We're not going to stop until we get equality, until we get the NDIS fully funded and fully launched. We're not going to stop until all Australians with disabilities are equal and have access to health, employment, education. Come with us, Tony. Come with us on the journey. Take this chance now. Don't start a war you can't win. The choice is yours. The ball is in your court. Do the right thing, champ. Because we want to work with you. We want to work with you to create a better Australia. A better Australia for people with a disability. And right now, you're letting the side down, son. You're letting it down. And if you keep doing it anymore, we're going to strike back. It's really up to you. Well, that's my rant about Tony Abbott and my message to him. Thank you for watching this. I'll be switching off in 4 minutes. Really, in summary, I hope I've made some sense. This wasn't scripted at all. This was very organic and very natural, and I hope I didn't offend anyone, except maybe Tony Abbott. Please watch this back. Please leave comments. I will try and do more live shows in the future. And give me your feedback for them. Like I said, this wasn't scripted. But I've had fun. I've had fun getting this off my chest. I've had fun trying to, I guess, show Australia and the world a bit about what people with a disability go through and what we're facing, and basically what we want. And it's not much. Really, it's just equality. And, you know, I think it's something that everyone should have. Because, you know, if you're a gay or lesbian person, you now deserve and receive equality. If you're a different race, different colour, different creed, you'll get equality. People with disability are the last ones on the list. And the time to change that is now. Well, my time is about up. I've got 2 minutes left. If you like this show, please tell me. If you hated this show, please tell me. If you're plotting my death and demise, maybe don't tell me, you know? As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at QKenihan, QKenihan. You can follow me on YouTube at QKenihan. You can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Quentin Kenihan to keep up with everything I'm doing. Like I said, I'll do another show soon. And like I said, this is only been a 30-minute show to talk about the status of people with disability, but I probably got sidetracked and went off into a bit of a rant. You can hear me every second Thursday on the ABC 891 Adelaide, where I talk about movies. And hopefully one day soon I will do a live show where we can all talk about movies, and it can be a little bit more upbeat than it was. Yes. Well, that's me. That's my show. 30 minutes is up. Thank you, and goodbye.